The Rand Corporation also investigated the use of atomic bombs to blast underground cavities for habitation. Russell Miller of the Colorado School of Mines and director of the Center for Space Mining in Boulder, Colorado, has worked on studies for underground cities on the Moon and Mars. One method, which has been proposed by him for the building of underground extraterrestrial colonies, would be to use missiles to drive holes 50 feet beneath the lunar or Martian soil, and then to use atomic bombs to blast out huge cavities. That's from Mind Control and UFOs, Casebook on Alternative 3 by Jim Keith. Hello, welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I hope that everyone who watches had a very good Thanksgiving. Today was Black Friday. I just learned the other day what Black Friday means. I always just assumed Black Friday meant it was terrible because there were so many people out shopping. But in actual fact, it's the day whenever retailers go into the black from being in the red. I didn't know that until the other day. So, I've heard predictions that this holiday season is going to be, down again like it was last year, which would give us an overall much greater down, over the last 2 years. So, but then there are others who are, predicting that it's going to increase. So, take your pick, okay, whatever you believe. My own personal opinion when it comes to Christmas and this entire season is do what you think is best for yourself, okay? Don't listen to anybody tell you what to do, okay? Personally, I'd tell you to boycott Christmas just like I did last year, okay? Do something nice for those that you love and care about. Don't buy a piece of Chinese crap, or take a little time to do something, worthwhile, and something with some love and attention in it. But I don't want to digress too much because the topic of this discussion is, well, let me just say one other thing on the whole Black Friday thing. Hopefully, a lot of you have decided that you're not going to be just mindless consumers. And that's another issue, okay? Not to be mindless consumers. Not to just go out and buy things just for the sake of buying them, just so somebody can have the latest gadget or doohickey. If you're going to purchase, take your time, decide what you really want. Look into buying American, if there even is such a thing. Make sure you get a product that's not relying on slave labor to make it. Just some food for thought. Don't be a mindless consumer, and don't go out to the stores just because they promise you great, fantastic deals. Well, there were crowds there, but, that's another subject. I wanted to talk about Climate Gate. Climate Gate. Now, I haven't talked about this subject because I've talked a lot about the cap and trade issue before. And I want to touch on this, and I want to talk about it very specifically to say, the amount of hypocrisy that there is in this issue is just crushing, okay? And to have all of this information come out about manipulation of data, hiding of information in order to bolster their position, and this is from a critical climate research unit who is one of the foremost climate research units that the IPCC and the UN depend on for their data. So the very fact that this particular place shows the amount of manipulation and the amount of confabulation and outright hiding of data, changing of data, and ridiculing of people who hold a different position, it reveals the entire house of cards that the global warming or climate change thing is. And take this away, it's like taking a pillar away from a structure being held up by two. it's not going to work. Okay? So what is the real issue here? The real issue is that the entire structure of the anthropogenic climate change has been turned on its head, because the people involved with the propagation of that theory have been shown to be liars, have been shown to be confabulators, and contrary to what science is supposed to do, they are deliberately withholding data and deliberately changing data in order to propagate their own propaganda. So they're manipulating science to promote an agenda, and that is precisely what is to be avoided. So we should heap as much ridicule on these people as we possibly can, because that's exactly what they deserve. Complete and total ridicule. And this is a perfect and golden opportunity for you to get focused on climate change. Now, I saw a very dear friend of mine's video, Jack Luck 4, talked about this, and she mentioned about environmentalism. And I want to make the distinction here. And she brought up a good point. Hopefully it's not going to lead to people thinking you can do whatever you want with the environment. But that's the propaganda that they tried to feed you. If you are not in support of anthropogenic climate change, somehow you're a guy that wants to go out and burn down the forest in your backyard. And you want to pour 45 million gallons of sludge into the ocean. Which, of course, that's completely untrue. But that's the kind of propaganda they try to sell you. And a lot of people buy into this. You can be a very good custodian of the resources you have without believing in anthropogenic climate change, which now has been shown to be highly manipulated. And probably, by their own records, if we had a chance to look at all of their stuff that we still don't have, I'm sure we'd see, once and for all, that the entire thing is the greatest farce that there ever has been in recent memory. To be so global in nature. So, don't confuse being a good caretaker of the environment and being environmentally conscious with buying into the hysteria of the fraud of global warming, climate change, etc. They're two separate issues. They don't have anything to do with each other, but they want to put the propaganda in there to make it seem like you hate the environment if you don't believe in their lies. So I ask you, don't fall for it. So, take a few minutes after you've calmed down from your family get-togethers and your big Thanksgiving meal to compose some letters and to call your senators, your representatives, and tell them exactly what you think about this. And if anybody has any idea where Gore is going to be, what kind of speaking tours he's going to be on, anything like that, Al Gore, if we could put together some kind of vocal protests against him anywhere he shows up. Anywhere. Throw pies at him. Call him names. Do anything you can to heap ridicule on this man who only supports a theory because it's going to make him a billionaire. That's really what it boils down to, because he, having access to data, getting a Nobel Prize for putting stuff together that he didn't even do, he has to know that what he's doing is a big lie. It's a total fraud. And he has to know it. So, why don't we try to focus on him a little bit too. So, after you've enjoyed your holiday, and hope you all had a great one, take some time to write a very impassioned letter to your member of Congress and to your senators, and to tell them that the ClimateGate scandal has revealed global warming for the fraud that it is, and that we are not going to accept any type of cap and trade, carbon tax, tax by mile on your automobile, or any of the other nonsense that they're going to try to ram down our throats. This is a golden opportunity. Let us not waste it. Thank you. Good night.